Alright, this is a quick little video to talk about a guy who's recently got in trouble in Brisbane, Australia. He's been caught for stalking. Now, I want to talk about this and being just not socially aware while learning game, and the importance of arguably getting a good coach. Now, this is why I teach Indirect and Visible Game, to prevent this type of stuff happening to you. And this is why I push a lot of the strategies that I do, especially for new guys. I focus a lot on your positioning, how to look for positive signs, try to read the girl, how to avoid getting into situations like this. It is so important that you avoid this, obviously, for obvious reasons. Now, there's often two things going on. There's a guy who wants to get good with women, but has a lot of, social anxiety around getting out there and dealing with the whole approaching aspect of it. And so what they often do is they choose a coach that will teach them social freedom, teach them these ridiculous sort of strategies to help them get into interactions with girls, and often it makes them a little bit weird. Now, I'm bringing this up for many reasons. Let's have a look at this, and this is something that you want to avoid getting yourself into. Alleged. So, I personally don't think, by looking at this, the guy has done anything wrong. He's probably been a little bit uncalibrated. He's been a little bit demanding, a little bit too direct, and a few girls have taken. They've obviously reported him somehow, and he's got himself in trouble, found himself in court. A man who has been the subject of assault and stalking complaints. It doesn't mean that he's done anything wrong. He hasn't been charged yet. He's been arrested and charged, but alleged he hasn't been found guilty. I'm not exactly sure how the court system works, but let's just say you are this guy and you've been taught these social freedom exercises. By the looks of things, on top of that, it's not just being not very socially aware. Brisbane women, and allegedly forcing them to follow his Instagram account. Now, this is a very direct method. So you can see that he might have got coaching, but you can also see that maybe he's taken on these other new methods that are out there online, and he probably tried to implement them himself, thinking that he's figured it all out. The not only cold approach aspect, but Brisbane's a pretty small city. It's not like LA or Las Vegas or anything like that. There's not many people there, and so he was probably trying to create a social circle through cold approach. That's what it seems to be, what he was trying to do there. But one thing I often do with guys is, it's not just positioning and getting into interactions in the most invisible possible way possible. It is also trying to be socially aware when you're annoying them, and avoiding any sort of awkward or weird situations where you're annoying the girl. And what he's done here is he's done the classic being way too direct. Hey, give me your phone. And then followed himself, and been too aggressive to the point where the women have complained. Like, sure, you might get one crazy woman complaining, but apparently there's been 4 of them. This is the this is the exact same one. Alleged. This is the second one. Stalker, he was charged and released. There's 4 girls, apparently. They call them victims, but we don't even know. Getting someone to follow you on Instagram isn't exactly a crime, I don't think. stalking women in Brisbane City. There are some coaches in Brisbane. I don't recommend them at all. They stand in the middle, like stand right there in the middle of Queen Street Mall, I think it's called. And no social awareness, just pack of 6 or 7 or 8 or sometimes 10 guys standing in a huddle in the middle of Queen Street Mall, and then one goes off and does an approach with a girl. The girl can see that you're with a huddle of guys, a group of guys in the middle, and then after you do the approach, go back to the guys. It just shows a lack of social awareness by the coaches that are teaching this and bringing guys together to do this. And when you mix that with not having the social awareness that this is just totally weird, you're going to find yourself in situations like this. And it seems like, and I'm not saying that the coaches up in Brisbane had anything to do with this. Who knows? They probably didn't. This could be just some guy that's gone out and tried to figure it out himself. But yeah, he was granted bail, and then just days afterwards. So this is Andre Gibkin, 25. So when you have a look at the photo too, if this is him here, you know, not a bad body shape. He's 25. I rarely get 25-year-old guys. I often get the hardest cases. I get guys that are like over 30. I get guys that are over 40. Imagine the magic I could do with a 25-year-old guy, even if he's not socially aware. And I think the fact that you guys are not coming to me and some of you guys are doing this type of shit, it's your own fault to some extent. There is, I think he's using the, I made this video a couple days ago. This is the social circle versus cold approach. And I just quickly brought this up.
We build backpacks for homeless people. We do Smash Global, which is an anti-bullying charity. The vast majority of my events are for charity.
Yeah, so these charity events, who are you hitting up? Like, if I'm one of your students and you're saying, okay, Marcus, you're running a...
So this is, what is it, Michael Sartain? It's Michael Sartain. I hope I got that right. It's not. Yeah, there it is there. Michael Sartain. He does the social circle. Now, what he teaches guys, by the looks of things, is to go through Instagram. There's a possibility this guy forcing girls to follow his Instagram is doing this in a very aggressive way.
Charity event. Who am I messaging on Instagram?
We're messaging everyone. It just like we're messaging girls. What was
like when you say everyone, I'm just thinking like, what do you mean by everyone? I literally hit up.
So we're not just picking girls that have large social media followings. We're picking girls that are physically attractive.
So how do you find the physically attractive girls on social media?
Beautiful, dude. Great question, man. So that's going to be step number 2 in the Men of Action course. If you guys want.
Well, there you go. So someone's gone out there and probably tried to mix cold approach with social circle in a very uncalibrated way. I had a few guys from Brisbane actually come after me, and these guys were so good looking. They were in their 20s, tall, jacked, like male models, and they came after me. They were doing far worse than this. They probably could have found themselves in jail. They came after me so hard, death threats and everything, and they were Marcus Wolf fanboys that came after me. But the thing is, it seems like there's a whole bunch of guys with no social awareness up in Brisbane that are doing game, and they think that they're all that, but really they're just getting results based on their age, 25. Perfect age to be learning game. When you have a real coach like myself teaching you how to do it in a socially aware way, getting there invisible, you would be a total weapon. Just unbeatable out there. But the point I'm trying to make here for this video is, if you're following the wrong guys, you're not socially aware, and you're trying to do some sort of social freedom exercises to get yourself out of, maybe you got some anxiety, you don't have to go to the extreme of doing ridiculous things like laying in the street and doing social freedom exercises. you can come to a real coach that spent a lot more time out there, a coach that's been doing game before the other coaches in Australia were born, and also does it in a way where I teach guys to avoid this. This is like the number one thing that you want to avoid if you're out there doing cold approach. And this is partially why so many guys have social anxiety, is because they fear that by going over and saying hello to a girl, they're going to find themselves in court somehow. So come and learn it the proper way. And I'm also bringing this up because there's so many coaches out there over the years that have given cold approach a bad reputation. But when you dig into it and you ask girls about this, girls want to be approached. They don't want to just swipe right on a sleazy dating app like Tinder, or have sleazy guys in their DMs on Instagram. They will accept that. They will take whatever's on the table, whatever's on the offering, and they'll pick whatever guy they want out of the choice of guys that are DMing them or hitting them up on Tinder. But cold approaching in a socially aware way, that this is the best way. Doing it in an invisible way, so you're not blowing out the area, so you're not embarrassing yourself, is the best way to learn cold approach. And I'm bringing this up because this is making the rounds in Australia right now, in the DG community, and I think you guys need to be aware of it. This type of stuff happens all the time. It happens in, it rarely happens in the United States because they're the privileged bunch of gamers. They can be as uncalibrated and have absolutely no game and still get away with the ridiculous stuff that they do over there. But if you mess up in Australia, you're getting in trouble. You mess up in Canada, you are going to get in trouble. You mess up in London, you are screwed. Okay? So you need to learn, in my opinion, a proper way to get into approaches, not be too direct, not be too uncalibrated and socially unaware and get yourself in trouble. Well, all this guy here was probably trying to do is get a few dates, build a little social circle so he's got a few girls to hang out with. Maybe he's a lonely 25-year-old guy just trying to fix up his life, and this happens to him. Now, I don't know the full story, I'm just making assumptions. But I'm assuming that a guy that is approaching girls and saying, follow my Instagram page, follow my Instagram account, is not a guy that's coming at it from a nefarious point of view. He's just single and probably lonely and just trying to get some girls in his life. And he just did it in a very aggressive way, and he probably watched the wrong YouTube videos, and now he's got himself into some serious trouble. Now, you don't want to get into that type of situation, do you? Obviously not. So be mindful of who you're following and try to learn Indirect, I recommend. And I'm the only one teaching Indirect, possibly in the Southern Hemisphere, definitely the only one in Australia. I know that for a fact because I'm here and there's not many here. Possibly in the world. I'm not exactly sure about that either, but I don't know of any other coach that's actually putting the time and effort to get good at indirect game and being invisible when you're approaching. But anyway, be careful out there, guys, and try to avoid getting yourself into trouble like this. And top link in the description, or go to my website, and if you want to sign up and do some invisible cold approach. See you guys in the next one.